Hello again, welcome back to Hanger 51. So today we're going to talk about the new J-65 jet from X-Fly. It's a twin 70mm jet, comes with a gyro, and it's just a dream to fly. I absolutely love this jet. Can't recommend it enough. If you're an accomplished pilot at all and you want to get into jets, this would be the one to start with. It flies that good. It's super easy to fly, to land. It's durable, good quality. Just a great jet. Great jet. Love this thing. So we're gonna in the video here I'm gonna show you the gyro and where I put it in the plane. I put my battery pack all the way back to the gyro. It doesn't matter what size battery I've run it. It flies the same with just a slight trim adjustment on the elevator sometimes. You know, a couple clicks here or there. It doesn't really care. I've flown it with a 6500 down to a 4500. And it has been no problem whatsoever in any of those batteries. Getting 9, 10, 14-minute flight times. Now, I fly at scale, so if you're going to run it wide open, of course, it's going to burn a lot faster battery, but I like to keep it right about half throttle, and those are the kind of flight times I get. And you'll see in the video how fast that is. It's in the 70 to 80 mile an hour range, I'd say. Flies really good. So the gyro settings, there's 3 settings. There's aileron, elevator, rudder from left to right, and straight up and down is no gains. It's basically not on. And then you increase the gains by how far you turn it clockwise. Okay, if you turn it clockwise, it does the same thing, but it makes the servo go opposite. Not the servo control opposite, the stabilization opposite. So make sure you go clockwise, and then and then check it. Make sure your radio is performing the way it's supposed to. But so I have the aileron and the elevator set at about 230. Okay, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's about 230 on the aileron and the elevator, which the elevator's not plugged in. I have the elevator directly to the receiver. Because the gyro works great, but when you're on the ground stabilizing it and looking at it, it doesn't always center, exactly. And I was a little leery to try it that way, so I decided to take the elevator off of it because I didn't want it hunting altitude. When I set the altitude, when I trim it for altitude, it'll hold altitude if the elevator doesn't change. So I decided not to put the elevator through the gyro, but the rudder and the aileron are. And then I have the rudder at about 4 o'clock. So those are my settings. If you've watched other videos, guys, I've seen some of these planes look really bad in the air. Real jumpy, jittery, all over the place. I don't know what they're doing. If either they have no gyro in it and the weather conditions aren't good, or they've got the gyro gains turned way too far up. 6, 7, 8 o'clock maybe. I don't know. You don't need that much gyro, gains. So keep the gains low. Start with where I have them set them. You can fine tune it from there. And or they're trying to run it with a Spectrum receiver that has AS3X in it. So if you're running a Spectrum receiver with AS3X with this gyro, the 2 gyros are going to fight each other. See, the gyro, the way it works in non-safe mode is the receiver knows and the gyro knows whether it received an input from the transmitter or if it was from outside forces, wind basically. Okay, so when it gets an input from an outside source, not from the radio, it counters it. All right, so if it gets a wind gust that blows it this way, the gyro is going to correct it back this way, because that's what the gyro does. And that's without an input from the radio. If it receives an input from the radio, then it ignores trying to stabilize it, unless you're in safe mode. Which actually this receiver I'm sorry, this gyro in the plane does have a safe mode in it. If you want to use it, I didn't care for the way it flew in safe mode, but I know I don't like anything in safe mode. Um, so you can't use a Spectrum receiver that has a gyro in it, AS3X, with or without safe, because the two gyros are going to fight each other. This gyro is going to do an input. That gyro is going to see that it was not a transmitter input, so it's going to counteract that input, and the plane's just going to be all over the place because the two gyros are fighting each other. So you can't use two gyros. If you have an AS3X receiver that you can turn the gyro off in, then it'll work fine. Or just use a Spectrum receiver that does not have a gyro in it, which you can get. So those are my recommendations there. I'm flying it with a FreeSky receiver, not the one that has the gyro in it, just a standard receiver, and that's what I use. So we're going to cut away to the video. The first thing you're going to see is my gyro placement, and then a close-up of the gyro showing you where the gains are set, and then we'll get to the flight video, and then we'll come back and finish up. So let's cut to the video.
Okay, so here's the placement of my gyro in the location. You can see where it is next to the hole in the fuselage that the wires come through. So that's where I mounted my gyro. It's taped in. I glued the surface with some epoxy, and then I put tape, double-sided tape, to tape it on. And the way I run it is I slide my battery right up against it. So I put the battery in the battery straps here, and I slide the battery all the way back until it touches the gyro. And that's the perfect CG for this thing. I have had no issues whatsoever with the CG right there. Okay, welcome back to Hangar 51. We're going to do a flight of the J-65. It's dusk, so the sun's down, so I might get a good look at the lights. And we're flying it with a brand new HRB 5200. This is the maiden voyage on the battery, so we'll see how we do on time. It's going to be a real gentle business jet flight, so we'll see how it does. All right. Let's get busy here. Flying it with my Radio Master radio. And final check here. Left, right, up, down, left, right, flaps down, flaps half, and flaps up. Okay, looks good. All right. I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit. I can't see it, so I'll just have to do it by guessing. Right here. I hope this works out. Okay, we're just going to zoom it a little bit. All right, I'm going to keep it in close. Here we go. So winds are 15 to 16, gusting to 21. As I go by, you'll get a good look at the flag. I'm going to fly right over it. So there's the flag right there. Very windy, very gusty. But look how stable this airplane is. It's amazing, guys. This plane is absolutely amazing. The last battery I flew in it was much heavier, and we got a little too much up trim. So let me trim it back down a little bit. see how that is. So -11, so we're less than half throttle. And here we go. Straight and level, still climbing a little bit. So that was a 6500 I had in it in the last flight. So it just needs a slight trim, but it flew beautiful. Still too much. All right. Let me trim it down a little more. Yeah, we're just about there now. This looks pretty good. So the rudder and the ailerons are the only thing on the gyro. This is the factory gyro that came with the plane. I do not have the elevator on the gyro. That's just a personal preference of mine. I sell airplanes. I don't like it hunting elevator. When I trim it for straight and level flight, I want it to stay straight and level flight. I was afraid the gyro was going to keep messing with it, so I trimmed it out of it. I just bypassed it. The elevator's plug directly into the receiver. Okay, went on a little too far there, it disappeared, so we'll try to keep it a little closer. So that's hands off, guys, right there. Haven't touched it. Okay, so turn around. I'm pulling in a little tighter this time. There we go, hands off. Yep, never touched it. Turn around. Up and over the tree. There we go. Hands off. And it'll just fly away, guys. That's still hands off. It's just going to fly away. So let me turn it around. It's just such a good flying airplane, guys. It's amazing. So let's do a close pass here. I'm going to do a couple landings. Let's set up for a landing. And it's probably hard to see it, but here we come. Here, gear down, flaps down, throttle down. Not all the way, just throttle back. Let it just sink into the runway. Keep the throttle on. There you go. And up we go. Gear up, flaps up.
Okay, so there it was. That was the flight. Now, the camera cut off early. I don't know why. I'm having a little issue with the battery, I think, in the camera. But I have come up with a solution for that. I can have an external battery in my pocket plugged into the camera, and that will solve that problem. So, but that was about a 9-minute flight, I believe, and but it cut off early. I did a landing, touch and go, and I was planning on doing a few more of those just to show you how easy it is to land, and the camera quit, so I apologize for that, but just an awesome jet, guys. So in the end credits here, I'm gonna link you to another video where I'm flying my jet again, but it's not on my channel, it's not me recording. It's another guy's recording. So we'll if you want to click on that to see some more flight time of the jet, just click that link. And other than that, guys, I just can't recommend this plane enough. I absolutely love it. It's just a fantastic flying jet. So, all right, guys, that's all I've got. Like, subscribe, like me here on Facebook, like me here on YouTube, like me on Facebook, and we'll catch you on the next review. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.